When you picture Bali, this is it, right? Total island paradise. You've got the incredible culture, those perfect beaches, the super friendly people. And look, for a lot of visitors, that's exactly what it is. It's a beautiful dream.
And then you see a headline like this, and it just shatters that perfect image. It's really jarring, and it's a clue that there's a much darker, way more complicated story happening just under the surface.
So that's what we're going to unpack. The shadow that's kind of looming over paradise. It's caused by forces that, honestly, you probably wouldn't even notice if you're just there on a 2-week vacation. And it all boils down to one simple question, really. Bali is, it's one of the hottest travel spots on the planet. But what happens when that kind of popularity has a dark side? What's the real price of being paradise?
Okay, so let's start with the most immediate threats, the dangers that are literally hiding in plain sight, in the beautiful nature that everyone flocks to see. The water in Bali, it can be absolutely treacherous. Take this heartbreaking story of Harrison Contuanis, a 23-year-old tourist. He was at a super popular beach, but there were red flags up. He went in anyway and was just swept away by these insane currents. And it's not just the beaches either. The ferry system between the islands, they're notorious for being overcrowded. And sinking ferries are, tragically, not a rare event. But the ocean isn't the only place where the water can be dangerous. Look at this number. 5. Since late 2021, at least 5 tourists have died doing something that's supposed to be fun. Whitewater rafting. Think about that. An adventure holiday turns deadly, and it really makes you wonder, what's going on with the safety over there? And listen to this. This is from Nigel Mason, the guy who basically started rafting in Bali. He says an American tourist died on a Red River Day. That's when it's way too dangerous to be on the water. And get this, he says there are guides on the river who don't even know how to swim. It's just unbelievable. It points to a huge problem with regulation, where safety clearly isn't the number one priority for everyone. This whole theme of being unprepared, it carries over to the land too, especially the island's massive volcanoes. You hear these stories almost like a joke of tourists trying to climb them in flip-flops and a t-shirt, but the reality? No joke at all. These are serious, tough climbs on active volcanoes. You absolutely need the right gear, you need to be fit, and most importantly, you need a proper local guide who knows what they're doing. And don't just take my word for it. The chief of National Search and Rescue is blunt about it. He talks about the reckless attitude of so many climbers who just ignore the rules. And because of that, his teams are constantly being called out on rescue missions that, frankly, should never have happened in the first place. Okay, so we've talked about the dangers from nature, but now we need to talk about something else, something a lot more sinister. A rising tide of crime. This story is it's chilling. A 28-year-old Ukrainian tourist, Igor Komarov, was kidnapped right off the street. A few days later, his dismembered body was found on a beach. The police identified 6 suspects, all of them foreigners, but they'd already left the country. And the key thing here is that this wasn't just some mugging gone wrong. This was an organized, incredibly violent crime. And it's not a one-off incident. There's the case of Byron Hatto, an Australian tourist found dead. A second autopsy revealed something truly disturbing. His heart had been removed. And beyond these horrific, extreme cases, there's the stuff that travel advisories are constantly warning people about, like your drink being spiked with methanol, which is basically poison, in popular bars. So you've got these natural dangers, and you've got this rise in serious crime. What's the connection? How does this happen in paradise? Well, almost everyone points to one single massive problem. And that problem is over-tourism. It's a simple concept, really. It's what happens when a place is literally loved to death. When so many people visit that it just breaks the system. The local resources can't keep up, the environment suffers, and it creates this pressure cooker situation where both accidents and crime can thrive. And the numbers are staggering. Just look at this. In 2024, air arrivals shot up by over 20%. That's 6.3 million people. Think about that. That kind of surge puts an unbelievable strain on an island that was never designed to handle that many people at once. And you can see the results right here. It's a direct cause and effect. More crowds mean more problems. Petty crime goes up. The traffic is up 30%, which means more gridlock, more frustration, and sadly more accidents on roads that are already completely overwhelmed. But this isn't just about crime stats and traffic jams. There's a much deeper cost to all this. Over-tourism isn't just straining the infrastructure, it's putting pressure on the very soul of the island.
This quote really hits home. It perfectly captures this feeling that a lot of people have, locals included, that Bali is slowly selling off everything that made it so unique and beautiful in the first place, that the magic is being paved over.
And there's actually a really beautiful way to understand this using Balinese philosophy. They have two concepts, Sakala and Niskala. Sakala is the world you can see and touch, the bohemian cafes, the millions of tourists, the new villas. It's the physical world. But Niskala is the unseen world, the spiritual world, the culture, the soul of the island. And here's the problem. As the Sakala of tourism gets bigger and louder, it's pushing out the Niskala. It's displacing communities, it's disrupting religious ceremonies, it's chipping away at the very heart of Bali.
So when you put all of this together, it really forces you to ask, what does paradise even mean anymore?
So what's the big takeaway here? It's that all these terrible things, the accidents, the crime, they're not just random bad luck events. They're symptoms of a much bigger problem, over-tourism. This massive strain is affecting everything, from the safety of the water to the very identity of the island. And look, the point of all this isn't to say, don't go to Bali, not at all. It's about going with your eyes wide open, being aware of the impact we all have as travelers. Which leaves us with one last, really important question to think about. When a paradise like this is marketed and sold to the entire world, we have to ask, who is paying the ultimate price?